Former President Joe Biden has been diagnosed with an aggressive form of prostate cancer, a revelation that has not only rocked political circles, but also raised pressing concerns about the transparency and health of one of America's most enduring political figures. The announcement, made by a spokesperson close to the Biden family, confirmed that doctors identified a small nodule on the former president's prostate during a recent physical exam. What began as a routine checkup turned into something far more serious as medical experts flagged the anomaly for further testing. Subsequent evaluations revealed that the cancer had metastasized, spreading to his bones, a particularly troubling development. However, the disease was also identified as hormone-sensitive, which, according to oncologists, opens a narrow but crucial window of opportunity for treatment. At 82 years old, Biden's health has been a point of contention and concern for years, especially given the physically and cognitively demanding nature of the presidency. Yet, in February 2024, Biden's longtime physician, Dr. Kevin O'Connor, gave him a clean bill of health, describing him as fit to serve after a detailed examination at Walter Reed National Military Medical Center. This public assurance came at a critical time. Biden, still the presumptive Democratic nominee at the time, had faced growing scrutiny not only from political opponents, but also from within his own party, with whispers about his stamina, focus, and ability to govern behind closed doors. It was a reassurance many accepted at face value, but the illusion began to unravel rapidly just months later. In July, after a surprise announcement that Biden would not be seeking re-election, Dr. O'Connor once again stepped into the spotlight, this time offering a slightly different picture. He described the former president's health as excellent, a description that, in hindsight, now appears more complex, if not entirely misleading. The contradiction between a previously spotless health report and the emergence of a metastatic cancer diagnosis has ignited a storm of speculation about what was known, when it was known, and to what extent that information was deliberately withheld from the public. The diagnosis has only added fuel to the firestorm of allegations suggesting that top members of Biden's inner circle, including White House staff, advisors, and even close family members, may have been complicit in hiding the severity of his physical and cognitive decline during his final months in office. According to sources cited in a bombshell new book titled Original Sin, authored by veteran journalist Jake Tapper and Axios political correspondent Alex Thompson, the extent of Biden's deteriorating condition was far more severe than previously disclosed. Behind the closed doors of the White House, there were allegedly serious discussions about contingency plans that included the use of a wheelchair for the president had he managed to secure a second term. Such a decision would have marked an extraordinary moment in presidential history, symbolizing a significant shift in how presidential disability is handled in the modern era. The book, drawing on interviews with dozens of staffers, cabinet officials, and healthcare professionals familiar with the matter, paints a sobering picture of a leader surrounded by loyalists, many of whom were torn between their allegiance to a man they respected and their obligation to a nation in need of clear-headed leadership. The narrative unfolds like a political thriller, filled with uneasy compromises, tense meetings, and whispered conversations in West Wing corridors. One former aide, who asked not to be identified, described the atmosphere in Biden's final months as one of managed crisis, where every public appearance was carefully choreographed, every speech carefully written and rehearsed to avoid slip-ups that could expose the extent of his health challenges. This diagnosis comes at a critical juncture for the nation. Though Biden has formally exited the 2024 race, his influence on Democratic politics remains enormous. He was, after all, the figurehead around whom the party had rallied for 4 tumultuous years following the bitter 2020 election and the January 6th Capitol insurrection. His steady hand, or the perception of one, was often credited with calming political tensions and restoring international relationships that had frayed during the previous administration. But now, with the revelation of his advanced illness, there is a growing sense of betrayal among many Americans, especially those who feel they were misled about the health and vitality of the man entrusted with the highest office in the land. The nature of prostate cancer itself adds a further layer of nuance to the unfolding story. According to the American Cancer Society, prostate cancer is the most common cancer among men in the United States, particularly affecting older demographics. Data shows that nearly 80% of men in their 80s will experience some form of prostate cancer, often without noticeable symptoms. In Biden's case, however, the aggressive spread of the disease to the bone is particularly alarming. Bone metastasis often indicates an advanced stage of the illness and can lead to severe complications such as debilitating pain, loss of mobility, and a significant reduction in life expectancy. Yet, the mention that the cancer is hormone sensitive offers a glimmer of hope. Such cancers typically respond to hormonal therapy, which can slow the growth and spread of the disease, buying valuable time and potentially improving quality of life. Still, the timing and delivery of the news have left a bitter taste in the mouths of many. How could a man previously declared fit to serve now be battling an aggressive, bone metastasized form of cancer just months later? Was the disease missed during earlier examinations, or was it kept under wraps deliberately to avoid political fallout? These are the questions now dominating headlines, social media feeds, and political roundtables. In Washington, the fallout has been swift. Congressional Republicans have called for formal inquiries into whether members of Biden's administration knowingly obscured the truth about his medical condition. Some have even suggested that such actions, if proven, could constitute a betrayal of public trust, akin to other historic political cover-ups. On the Democratic side, reactions have been more mixed. While many have expressed heartfelt sympathy and praised Biden's decades of service to the nation, there is also a sense of frustration and even anger about the handling of the situation. Behind the scenes, party leaders are now working overtime to stabilize the political landscape, manage donor expectations, and rally behind a new standard bearer for the general election. But beyond the political implications lies the deeply human story of an aging man who has spent more than half a century in public service, now confronting one of life's most sobering realities. Biden, whose life has been marked by personal tragedy, losing his first wife and daughter in a car crash in 1972, and later his son Beau to brain cancer, now faces his own battle with mortality. Those close to him say he remains characteristically stoic, leaning heavily on his Catholic faith and the tight-knit family that has seen him through so many storms. His wife, Jill Biden, has reportedly been a constant presence at his side, quietly taking on the role of caretaker while continuing her own duties as an educator and public figure. The news has also sparked a wave of public response, with supporters, celebrities, and world leaders sending well wishes and sharing stories about the president's resilience and commitment to duty. Social media has lit up with messages of support, while also brimming with speculation and commentary, much of it critical, about the way the information was handled. In Delaware, the president's home state, the mood is especially somber. Biden has long been a beloved figure there, representing the state in the U.S. Senate for more than 3 decades before ascending to the vice presidency and ultimately the presidency. Local leaders and constituents have expressed both sorrow and solidarity, recalling the many times Biden had been there for them, at ribbon cuttings, funerals, community centers, and town halls. "He never stopped showing up for us," said one Wilmington resident. "Now it's our turn to show up for him."